you Capture the objective.
Mercy on call. Stay focused. We have everything we need.
I will keep you
Behold
safe.
my creation.
Team kill. The objective is now active.
Then face me.
Sojourn en route. Activating healing stream. I'm empowering you. That feels much better. Not so fast.
I'm still standing. I'm still
You're fine.
I will keep you safe.
Stand up straight. It's go time. Heroes never die.
Pause it, Crusaders!
Best round lost.
I can't save you every time.
Score 0-1.
I thought my time in the field was done. But I guess you can't predict everything.
You can't take talent down by yourself, Jack.
Maybe not, but then I've always liked being the underdog.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
The barrier appears.
The objective is now
If they won't quit, neither will I.
Barrier is nearly spent. The barrier has fallen.
How about you? I'll make it worth your while.
Enemies in our orbit.
I can fix that.
Situating the barrier. The barrier. What is that melody?
It seems we were having some technical difficulties here. The mic wasn't quite working on our side. So apology for the lack of commentary for the first round here, but this second round is going to be pretty interesting. It's very, very tight moving and well, not overtime. OTC couldn't get a grasp on the capture point on the first or second round. Because of that, Drexel was going to take a 2-0 first round lead, making the match score 1-0 in favor of Drexel. And again, apologies for the lack of commentary for most of this match. The mic was just not working. But we got it fixed now. Hopefully it's looking good as we move into the second map here, as OTC tries to stay in here, regain control. You know, put on the back pedal, but we're trying to come back. But anyways, welcome back to OTC Esports. Tonight you are watching Week 2 of Overwatch, of NACE Varsity plus Overwatch, as the OTC Esports takes on Drexel University. A tough opponent, but we're a tough competitor as well. Just trying to fight here, take a win, take a good few rounds, come out on top here. I am your host, Mirage, like last week, and for the foreseeing weeks ahead, I will be your commentator and host for every OTC Overwatch game as we take on our first NACE Overwatch season of our organization, trying to make a name for ourselves here. We did it with Valorant, we did it with Rocket League, we did it with Super Smash Bros. Last season, and now we've added Overwatch to the list. We came out very, very strong last season with all three of our primary teams that we ran with, and we're looking to add a fourth here, make an even bigger name for ourselves as a competitor among collegiate NACE esports. Just trying to do the best we can, make a big name for ourselves, earn that spotlight a little bit, trying to bring home some trophies maybe. Looks like we are getting ready to go on map 2, Eichenwald. For those of you who tuned in last week for last week's Overwatch game, you might remember me saying how Eichenwald is a very defender-sided map. That first choke point before the initial capture of the payload is extremely favorable for the defenders, as it's an extremely tight choke point with no play around it. If you can hold the main choke point and just keep people from pushing you back, you will completely hold the enemy team at bay and prevent them from pushing up whatsoever. So whoever's on the defender side here will have a massive first round advantage. Same as last week, looks like OTC is going to be on the attack. Nothing new. Last week we were on the attack for the first round as well, and pushed in extremely quickly, actually. We were able to hold the line, push in really, really quickly. So it's not a problem for us, however. But like I said, the choke point is very formidable. If you can hold that and prevent the opposing team from pushing into you, you will be able to kill and waste so much of the valuable push time. So all OTC has to do here is get around the choke, which seems to be exactly what they're planning on doing, pulling the Pharah Mercy combo, also known as a pharmacy. A little play on words with both the hero names. So the advantage to a pharmacy combo is Pharah is a very high burst DPS character. She doesn't do much constant damage. As I'm saying that, OTC's Pharah takes out Drexel's Pharah, gaining a massive advantage. Drexel going down a DPS, especially Pharah, that's huge. Taking out a Pharah early game, I guess at all, but especially early round, is going to be monumental for the team's ability to capture the objective, which seems to be exactly what has happened here, as OTC has taken the first capture point. I shouldn't say that quite yet, but they're about to. Completely wiping Drexel. Drexel has one hero left, Soldier, and trying to just stay on the point. But OTC completely just smashed their record from last season of being able to take the Eichenwald point. If you remember from last week, I made a big deal over how quickly OTC was able to take the first capture point, and here they did it in about a third of the time. That's huge. We've improved. We learned from our mistakes last week, and we absolutely just shattered our PR from last week. Taking this capture point in like 45 seconds. That's giant. That's huge, and I love to see that kind of stuff. Pharmacy's still putting in work. Zoops, our main DPS for OTC Overwatch, taking out Soldier and be more consistent. Ulti gets one! Does he get two? Does he get two? Gets two! Zoops completely takes out 3/5 of Drexel University in one singular play. Drexel is on its last limbs here. KZ taking out Mercy. That's going to be huge. Drexel has no healers right now. Zoops takes out another one. OTC DPS is just completely built different right now. Completely shattering Drexel. Shutting them down on the push. Drexel making a take switch from Reinhardt to Orisa. Reinhardt was not working very well in their favor, so they made a switch. Zoops taking another person down. Claiming another kill. His KD is literally like 8-0 right now. That's insane. First round, OTC just completely steamrolled the first capture point and just practically walked the whole time to the second capture point. This is insane. If you watched last week's game, you know how much of a blowout the first two capture points were in OTC's favor. They were extremely quick. The opposing team just let us walk by. This time, I think they did it even more. The opposing team just like didn't contest, and I majorly contribute that to Zoops' ability. Speaking of Zoops, pops ult, gets one, KZ picks up another one. Speaking of KZ, let's go ahead and watch him here as he's almost cut Visor. Might not be needed though, as OTC, like I said for the second point, is just completely decimating Drexel right now on a very defender-sided map. Just completely pushing right by him. We're about 20 meters away from the capture point. Not even, maybe like 5 feet. We're about to take it. Let's see if they can hold this push here. KZ has ult, pops ult, gets Visor, gets one. Does he get two? Is he going to get this Orisa? All they need to do, he gets the Orisa. Zoops takes out the other one. Mercy, taking a little bit of a battle Mercy position, gets a melee kill on Shadow Dragon, Drexel's Soldier player, just establishing dominance early in the second game. OTC had a massive first round on an objective that was completely against their favor. That's insane. They came out the gates just not even running. They were full out sprinting out the gates here, establishing dominance early, showing Drexel that we are not somebody to laugh at. We're a team to be taken seriously. And we clearly did that because we have 4 minutes and 38 seconds of push time left in our favor for going into the next round. Drexel here has to go extremely quickly and extremely hard through this first choke point if they want to get the capture and get a move on with the payload, getting it moving towards the final objective sites. The only way Drexel can win this map is if they hit. First, they have to hit all 3 capture points. They have to make this initial capture here from the first choke point. They have to hit the next 2, and then they have to hit the next 2 capture points. That's just if they want to stay in the game. If they do that, then it goes to overtime. Both sides alternate attacking and defending, and you play with whatever time you have left. So if we go to overtime, OTC will have 4 minutes and 38 seconds of play time to mess around with going into overtime. So this entire game rides on Drexel's ability to contest this first choke point, which OTC is already doing a better job of Drexel than Drexel was because they're holding closer to the choke point. The closer you hold the choke, the higher your ability to maintain it is. Because you're giving the opponent less space. So since we're holding, not necessarily at the gate, but pretty close to it, we're not giving Drexel much space to work with. Drexel, on the other hand, last round we're playing all the way back where basically Soldier is standing now. They played there the whole time, just let OTC walk straight in there. And because of that, we were able to take this point very fast. However, Drexel's Winston dived in, which is a very smart move on their part, diving in, creating space for his team, and just disorienting OTC, which worked. It did work in their favor. Not to the same extent that OTC was able to do. We did take the first capture point just a little bit faster than Drexel has here. But still, great show. Great show. Looked great. Drexel just jumped in there. Once they started realizing, okay, we can't just really stand here at the choke point because OTC is going to hold us back, they learned from that mistake and just dove in, and it worked for them. Saki taking a nice kill on Genji with the Sigma. That's pretty good. Genji is a very dive comp character. His role is to kind of just jump in your back line and either kill your support so your team has no heals, or distract your DPS and your support, and taking the attention away from the point. So Genji's a very formidable character, not because of his kit necessarily, but because of how well he can execute his role with the kit. Sigma going in and diving on the capture point here, just trying to contest, not giving Drexel any room to work with, which is something Drexel didn't do last round, and that's why we were able to push the payload so far. And I really do contribute that to Zoops and his outstanding Pharah gameplay. Because of that, OTC was able to severely disorient and basically pull apart the entirety of Drexel, allowing OTC to just push onto the point without being contested. OTC just trying to fight here, stand in, get some damage off. They unfortunately do get pushed off the point. Saki takes himself out. A little bit of an accident there. Zoops gets a nice kill on Winston, so Winston will not be present in this next team fight, which gives OTC a little bit of an advantage, because in Overwatch 2, there's only one tank. Overwatch 1, there was two. You had a main tank and an op tank. Overwatch 2 is a little bit different. There's only one tank per side, so your tank is extremely important. What your tank does is it blocks damage and basically just pulls focus of the enemy team onto the tank itself, so the tank can just absorb damage and just distract. Blade goes out. I think it's a Nano Blade, maybe potentially. No, not a Nano Blade, but Blade still does get some picks. Zoops, however, oh my god, Zoops counters with the overcharge ult on Soldier and completely decimates Drexel here. That was a massive, massive ult. That is going on the highlight reel. You will see that on all of our social media pages soon enough. That was a huge, huge play. Completely just broke Drexel, pushed them back, and basically wasted an ult. OTC still just getting a good damage here. Zoops just picking at everybody, getting some good damage in. Mercy has ult. Let's look at the ult, speaking of. Looks like, oh, Riptire going out. Riptire, let's see if it does anything. How much does it get? Riptire unfortunately gets destroyed before much can happen to it. However, it's more of a mental game. The tire goes out, you scare everybody. Everybody runs away. Nobody wants to die to that tire, you know? It's a very big AoE, very powerful AoE ability. Nobody wants to die to that. So you pop tire. Sigma ult goes out. Gets everybody disoriented. Zoops takes out Lucio, which is huge. Mercy going in for the res on Soldier. Keep Zoops up. Zoops is our main DPS. We got to keep him up, keep him going. If he is up and alive, he is doing damage. If he's doing damage, he's winning us fights. We just got to keep Zoops in this game. Mercy doing a great job with that, just keeping the team up. Both supports actually doing a fabulous job of just keeping OTC in this game. In Overwatch, you always got to thank your supports, because your supports are what keep you going. They keep you healthy, they keep you topped up, they keep you alive, essentially. And in a game like Overwatch, where one death could literally mean the difference between you winning or losing a capture point, one single teammate being alive rather than dead is it literally makes or breaks objectives. So your supports are always the most important member of your team. You got to keep them up. You got to make sure they're doing their job correctly. And in OTC's case, they absolutely are. Winston here diving in the backline, like I said earlier, fulfilling his role. However, it's not working super well. He's disoriented OTC a little bit, but we're still alive. Zoops pops ult. Nano Blade gets popped on Sigma, ulting the tank, completely pushing them back. Drexel Lucio pops ult, gets the sound barrier going, gives Drexel a little bit more health here, gives them more room to work with, a bit more of a forgiving ability to keep going. But unfortunately, because the Winston is so good, Winston as a character, I should say, is so good at diving in and disorienting a team, they were able to break past OTC's line. However, it does need to be said that even though Drexel broke past, it took them twice as long as OTC took to make the same distance. So OTC is going to have 4.5 minutes to push through all 3 choke points and claim a 3-point objective push. Meanwhile, Drexel has 2. That's huge. The more time, the better, of course. So the more time we have to keep going, the higher our odds of actually completing this objective are.
I will not leave a broken world behind.
I thought my time in the field was done.
The
But I
OTC
guess
keeping
you can't
the
predict
same team comp here, and I apologize. OTC is not on the attacking side first. I got a little bit switched. We are defending first. However, I do believe defense is our strong suit, especially on Eichenwald. Like I said earlier, it's always good to be on defense. Very defender-sided map. So if we can hold well here and establish a bit of a mental game, just
Maybe one day
basically
we go
just
on missions in
dishearten the other
Hawaii.
team by holding them back, putting the time on, putting that pressure on. It'll be huge for when we switch to the attacking side because their mental will be broken. And mental is a huge, huge aspect to all competitive games. No matter how good you are, if you're not in the right headspace, you're not going to compete well. So if we can break the mental early and do it effectively, that's huge. OTC just holding the line here. Winston dives in, but Sigma, very, very smart, uses his CC ability, the big old rock, to push Winston back. Winston almost dead. Winston dead. Most of Drexel almost dead, actually. Rock goes out, doesn't hit anything, but it plays the mental game, pushes them back. OTC just completely destroyed that push of Drexel. Another rock goes out, doesn't get anything, but it forces the dash out of Genji, pushing him back. Genji dead, speaking of. Zoops with the grenade. Just wiping Genji out, completely destroying the entirety of the push. OTC just holding their own, holding the line. That's what they have to do. Winston dives in. Another CC goes out from Sigma, pushing the Winston back. Drexel looks to be trying to rotate around here. They switch to a Pharah. Very, very smart on Drexel's part. Is a Pharah is extremely good against Sigma. And the reasons she is good against Sigma is because Sigma has a difficult time dealing with any aerial characters.
Hello there.
His primary attack ability is a bit different than some of the characters in the game. It's AoE, but it's also projectile. And what that means is it does damage within a very small area of effect, and it also has travel time. So it's hard to contest with aerial characters like Pharah, for example. So that's a very good switch on behalf of Drexel to go to Pharah to counter this Sigma. And it seems to be working as they were able to push back. Drexel's Pharah ult goes out, takes one. Winston ult goes out, takes another one. OTC pushed off here, but we killed enough time to force Drexel into overtime. So Drexel has to push to this entire first actual push point in order to just stay in the game. If they don't do this, they lose this attack round and have to go onto the defense and hope that they can just hold OTC back for the proper amount of time, which in our case is 4.5 minutes. Nano Boost goes out on Sigma. Absolutely huge. Looks to be catching one. E2 gets everybody up. Loser Mo gets Zoops back in. The resident Soldier player who's been absolutely dominating this game. Looks to be diving in the backline. Gets a lot of good damage in. Everybody anti-Zoops takes out Soldier. Takes the main DPS. Tries to get Lucio before the beat goes down, but beat goes down, potentially saving Drexel. All OTC has to do here is stay on the capture point. Contest this point. Don't allow them to move in. Stay on the payload, and we win. All we got to do is just fight this payload. Drexel, unfortunately, taking out 2 people. Airy gets a nice pick on Pharah, though. A support taking out a primary DPS. That's very impressive. Soggy here trying to just fight for the choke point, or fight for the capture point, I should say. Just fighting for his life as much as he can. He's doing a great job staying up when all the odds are against him. Drexel did push past though, so they got to the objective point. However, because this is overtime, they don't gain any additional time. They still have to make this entire push to the third capture point in order to win the game. It's unlike regular play, and not overtime, where every capture point you make, you gain a little bit more time. You get a little bit more leeway. OTC, speaking of, cleans up the last two people sitting on the point and shut down Drexel's push on capture point 2. So now we have 4.5 minutes to try and fight for this second objective. Or sorry, fight for this third objective. If we can push it all the way, we win Eichenwald, which would make this match series 1-1. We need to do that here if we want to stay in the game, push off the back pedal, claim our spot, and push back into this game.
I will not leave a broken world behind.
Anybody got a toothpick? Got one of them mantis arms stuck between the molars.
Does everyone know the plan?
OTC looking to go for a pharmacy composition here. I don't blame them at all. It's exactly what I would do in my games too, and especially after it worked so extremely well on their attack round. I think I've said it a few times here, but I very much contribute OTC's spectacular push on the first attack round to the pharmacy combo. Pharmacy is an absolute busted comp, and it works extremely well. It honestly makes me pretty upset to fight against. So I feel for Drexel here a little bit that they have to go against a pharmacy comp, especially against such talented players like OTC. OTC absolutely just not giving a care in the world, completely pushing through the first choke point, establishing dominance, getting onto the capture point. That's what they need to do. Just push in, push hard and fast, get on the point, claim your rightful place on the capture point. Sigma doing an incredible job of just messing up and disorienting Drexel. That's exactly what your tank is supposed to do, other than just blocking damage. However, OTC could keep him up effectively enough, so we did lose the first push. However, we have plenty, and I mean plenty, of time to work with here, especially in comparison to what Drexel had. OTC making a little bit of a switch, dropping the pharmacy. And it's a very good choice because Drexel was expecting that. Drexel pulled a double hit scan composition, and what that basically means is hit scan characters are characters where your damage abilities have no travel time. They're not projectiles. It doesn't take any time for your bullets to travel from you to the target. It's instantaneous. And hit scan characters are extremely good with taking out aerial targets like Farah and Mercy. So it's an extremely good pick on their part. OTC got 2 out of the 3 capture segments. Nano goes out on Sigma, giving OTC a very powerful tank on Soggy Boy. He's just trying to hold the point, and he did exactly that. OTC got onto the capture point with 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in their match time. More than Drexel had. We have more room than them to work with. All we got to do is use that wisely, use it effectively, and push through the next 2 choke points. If we can do that and get to capture point 3, we win Eichenwald. OTC making a bit of a team comp switch here, going to Soldier. This is very good because Drexel just made the same mistake OTC did in the initial team fight. They pulled a pharmacy. Now we have a damage boosted Soldier trying to contest that. This Soldier, his entire job is to just focus. Reaper goes in for Death Blossom, doesn't get anything. Might get Ash, gets Ash. Soggy Boy takes out Moira as well, the main healer for Drexel. That's huge. OTC, not necessarily an entire team wipe, but everybody who's on the point from Drexel is now dead. OTC is able to just push in here with 2 minutes remaining. We got to get through the next 2 choke points with this 1 minute and 50 seconds. If we can do that, we win the match. OTC with plenty of breathing room here. Drexel not necessarily diving back on the point, trying to just take that high ground, hold that safe space, just basically just pick at the enemy team, pick at OTC. Try to build up some ult charge, just a little bit, just keep yourself going. OTC making a very strong hold. Pharah ult goes out. Unfortunately, gets Soggy Boy, OTC's tank, but Zoops with a very quick reaction takes out the Pharah. She's left wide in the open. Pharah gets resurrected on Drexel's side by the Mercy, so they are back up at DPS. OTC reading the cues, reading the context of the match here, pulling back, trying to save lives, not trying to push anything when they're a man down. Now that they have their tank, their front line of defense, they're trying to push back in here. Pharah takes out Zoops, but Mercy just gets him right back in the fight. Complete waste of a kill on Drexel's part. Zoops is back in this game. The most formidable player on this field is now back in the match and ready to go. Both sides just kind of picking at each other. Nano Boost goes out. Nano Boost goes out on Soldier. Nano Boosted Soldier just completely wiping the field with Drexel right now. That's insane. Pharah asleep on point, but Ari, our support player, just takes him out. That is an entire team wipe on Drexel. OTC has a ton of breathing room, and they are taking advantage of it. Instead of just sitting on the point, Zoops and Mercy are just pushing right in, trying to force Drexel back. Not giving any care in the world, just holding the point is what they needed to do, especially when it comes down to 10 seconds remaining. Bob goes out on behalf of Drexel. That's basically a 7th player, but Bob is slept by Ari. Zoops taking Moira out with him. Huge amounts of damage and kills going out here. Stick with Mercy so we can get the aerial view. OTC looks like they're winning this team fight here, and they are. They absolutely just won that. We are now on capture point 5. So what we have to do here, you see that little yellow square right here. This marks the position that Drexel was able to push the payload to on their attempt on the attacking side. All OTC does is have to push that payload right into that square without being contested by Drexel. And as I say that, we do it. OTC takes map 2, we take Eichenwald, we make this matchup 1-1. Absolute stellar performance by OTC in map 2. I can clearly tell we have been practicing, we've been learning, we watched our video replays from last week in our game on Eichenwald, and we came out the door ready to go. That was an incredible match by OTC. I'm honestly impressed. Zoops here with an absolute insane play of the game. This dude is just on a different level. Somebody, C9, some pro league team needs to sign this man right here and right now, because that was an incredible performance. Absolute MVP of the week material here. Now, because OTC has taken map 2, we have tied up the match 1-1. So we are going to go to a map 3 with a different objective point, and the winner of this map will claim the match. We are going to take a bit of a bathroom break here, though. 2 maps in a row, it's a little bit tiring. So we're going to take a little bit of a break here, then we're going to come back, and we're going to be swinging right out the gate.
this together. All of us.
Maybe one day.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to
We've
match
got a world to
3 as we move into Circuit Royale, another push map. Circuit Royale is a brand new map to Overwatch, not necessarily brand new to Overwatch 2, but it is one of the maps introduced into Overwatch 2 at the beginning of its lifespan on its release. Circuit Royale has been a bit of a divisive map in the Overwatch community. Some people love it, some people hate it. Personally, I don't mind for it. It's a little bit different. Too much verticality, in my opinion. But it is what it is, and we are on it for this map 3. We are ready to rock and roll right out the gate. Zoops cannot wait to get started. Immediately slides out the gate, getting in the face of Drexel. Drexel holding a high ground, giving OTC a little bit of room to work with. Just kind of sitting back, taking the more safer option. It's a little bit less beneficial in the grand scheme of things, because it does give OTC all of this room to push with. Like, we are already past the first corner, and Drexel has just completely let us do that. Soggy Boy just getting some good damage off, holding Drexel back, not allowing them to push back onto the choke point, fix their mistake, sitting so far back in the first place. Sitting in such a high ground position like that, while safe, does give the opposing team a bit of push room, gives them that momentum to keep working with and push the objective forward. And that's exactly what OTC did. You're taking advantage of Drexel's poor positioning, just pushing back. Soggy Boy is doing an incredible job tonight of just completely stunning the opposing tank with that CC rock ability, his E ability, which, speaking of the devil, he just threw it again. As I say that, he gets hit by it as well. It is a Sigma on Sigma team fight. Both sides just doing the best they can to stay alive, keep going, push each other back. Zoops here, let's get a bit of a POV, see what this man sees as he just completely wrecks Drexel. Pieces the whole game. Bit of a cute soldier spray there. Tracking on this man, completely diving in, just trying to get some damage in. Zoops is an incredible character, however, Drexel nano boosts the Sigma, and Soldier just doesn't have enough health with HP pool to withstand that. Sigma ultimate goes out, gets 1, gets 2. Does he get the Mercy here? Mercy does go down. OTC just completely obliterating Drexel on the first capture point. So we have 4.5 minutes to work with as we push into these next rounds. And the next push that we're about to come up on is the prime reason why I'm not a fan of Circuit Royale. This is a multi-leveled push around a tight corner with what's known as head glitches. Head glitches are where head glitches are an angle where you can sit on, and the only thing the opposing players see is your head. It makes it hard to hit you. Sigma all goes out from Drexel. It doesn't look to be getting anybody though, as OTC gets out real quick. However, it does disorient us a little bit, especially since we didn't have a tank. It takes out a couple of our players. OTC wisely backing off. You don't want to try to take a team fight without a tank, especially if the other team has a tank. Speaking of tank, Soggy Boy is back and ready to rock and roll here. As we move in, he takes no time getting back to the point, just trying to push in, take that land, and do exactly what he needs to be doing as a tank, and just holding the front line, pushing the enemy team back. If your tank can push the enemy team back on attack, that leaves your DPS with a great ability to jump into the back line and just basically deal damage to the already disoriented team. Soggy Boy does get slept though, but Mercy keeps him up for a moment. However, the direct impacts grenades of Junkrat are just sometimes too much to handle for certain characters, and in that case it was. Zoops taking another pick here, gets picked out though, so does KZ. OTC is a little bit on the back pedal, but got some good distance, about 36 or 37.5 meters on the first initial push on the second capture point. That's very good, very good. It's got about halfway around the corner. The corner is hard to fight because it's so multi-level. Drexel taking a Widow, trying to fight with that verticality alongside. Doesn't seem to be working for them super well. Nano Boost gets administered, gets sent on the... Who did it get sent on? Got sent on the Soldier. We have Nano Visor here. Soggy Boy's ultimate goes out, gets 1, gets the Ana. That's huge. KZ gets taken out. Harry, sniper to sniper, takes out Drexel's Widowmaker. Drexel Tire goes out, but is solely focused on Sigma and takes him out. But Drexel takes their sweet time focusing back on the objective point, so even though we lost our tank, we're still able to get a few more meters in, going from 37.5 to 53. Zoops! This man is insane. Mid-air headshot on Junkrat. That is... Dude, this guy is insane. I need to start learning from this man, just watching and taking notes. This guy is nuts. Let's get another POV of him here. He is absolutely insane with DPS characters. His aim, he's so smart. His reaction time is insane. This dude is awesome. I'm so glad we have him on the team. I know I'm giving this guy a little bit of love tonight, but he is absolutely earning it in every regard. KZ trying to push in here. He's trying to fill in for Zoops while he's down, just, making that damage. Zoops just 1v1 against tank. Completely taking him out. Junkrat, however, does take him out because the direct impact damage from Junkrat's grenades is so much. It's hard for DPS characters to withstand without both supports just completely dumping all their fields into him. So Zoops does get taken out, but the rest of the team is still up and fighting and ready to rock and roll. Zoops and KZ, both of our DPS players, just pushing right back in and doing what they need to be doing, getting back on point. Sigma here still holding his own, just fighting the point. Just trying to stay in there. Gets taken out though, kills some good time, gets some good ult charge built up. OTC has 2, 3, almost 4 of its ults here, ready to push into this next team fight. One of them being Nano. Nano is really good in Overwatch 2. What it does is it boosts your damage, boosts your health, and heals you for a significant amount over time while the ability is active. So Nano Boost is very big. And speaking of Nano Boost, it goes on the Sigma. Sigma ults. Does he gets 3? Is he going to get kills on it? He gets 1. He takes the Mercy, takes the Ana. Drexel has 0 heals right now, and they are on the back pedal. They are falling back, completely scared and terrified of OTC. Just pushing them back, getting ready to rock and roll. OTC, because of that, is making very good progress in the payload. Looks like they're about to get to it. Zoops with another pick takes out the Junkrat. Ares sitting on the capture point, just trying to get some a movement on that payload, getting it in. Tire goes out. That's a really, really big tire on behalf of Drexel here, taking out both DPS for OTC. This might be the round. OTC just needs to have their Ana stay in. Unfortunately, she gets taken out. Looks like the overtime clock is about to burn. OTC on the cusp of the second capture point. Can't quite make it though. Like I said, that second capture point is a bit of a difficult cookie to crack because of just the sheer verticality, the tight corners, the curve really sucks, but the verticality sucks even more, and especially good if you're on the defending side, because then you can just pull a character like Junkrat, which is exactly what Drexel did. They pulled a Junkrat, and because of that, they were able to just spam grenades down the ramp and keep OTC at bay. It worked very much in their favor on that. I do gotta commend them for that character pick, because I think that won them around. And especially with the Rip Tire at the very end, taking out 2 at the very ends of the round, securing the attack, or sorry, the defense side for Drexel. That's huge. OTC looking to move back in here, keeping pretty much identical to the same team comp as they had on the second half of the attack push. Might work out for them, might not, but we'll have to see. Let's see. Sigma, still a very good character. Extremely good character, actually. And then Ashe is another extremely good character in Overwatch 2 right now. Ashe is looking to take the high ground. Is OTC? Yeah, OTC is looking to take the entirety of the high ground here as we move into the second round. Oh, I'm sorry, the other side of this match. He's got to hold it tight, hold this choke point, and try to hold everybody back.
Stop the payload.
OTC getting some good damage in. Zoops gets a good dynamite. Catches about three of Drexel players on fire, doing some good damage over time. Mercy pocketing the Ashe, exactly what she's to be doing. Oh! Drexel gets a huge snipe on Mercy, completely taking her out in one foul swoop. That's honestly impressive and huge. Gets a second one. This Widowmaker, I almost said Black Widow. I'm getting Overwatch and Marvel mixed up here. This Widowmaker just making some big moves for Drexel. That's huge for them. They're completely blowing right past the first choke point because of those 2 picks. Taking out a main healer and a tank right out the gate back to back is huge. Got to commemorate the Widowmaker on Drexel side for that. OTC looking to take back the point though, diving right back onto it. Sigma getting right into the fray, not afraid whatsoever to just push in there, trying to hold his life, but unfortunately got antied. Wasn't able to get heals because of the anti-grenade, and because of that he got taken out, and Drexel was able to take the first capture point. OTC needs to get back into this game and push things just a little bit further. I do see somebody in chat is asking for the score of the game. It is currently 1-1. We are on map 3, so both teams have taken one map. Drexel was able to take the first map on Lijiang Tower, and OTC was able to completely demolish Drexel on Eichenwald, a map that we seem to be favoring a little bit. So it is a 1-1 score, and if Drexel can push past that little yellow thing right there, they will take map 3. OTC has to hold them off for 4.5 minutes. That is an extremely daunting task. Nano Boost goes out on Drexel's Sigma, but about half the health he had goes away, but Drexel's Sigma was extremely smart. Oh, speaking of nanos on Sigma, OTC pops the same one as well, but instead of trying to focus on the front line, OTC is smart and focuses on the back line, taking out the Widowmaker, a very formidable opponent on Drexel's side. Unfortunately, just like the first round, the Riptire comes in, takes him out, but Mercy Res gets off. Sigma's back in the game. Speaking of alts, pops the ult. Doesn't get anybody. Is he about to? Oh, he gets on it. That's very nice. KZ and Sigma on Soggy on Sigma are the only two left on point. They're just trying to fight for their lives, trying to stay alive. They have no heals, so they just got to try to avoid taking damage as much as possible. Wait for the supports to get back. Speaking of, KZ gets a nice pick on the Widowmaker. That's going to be extremely huge for OTC's ability to hold here. Sigma gets stunned, sends a rock back, stuns the other Sigma. It is just back and forth with these two tanks. The second one does something, the other one copies it. They are just at each other's throats the whole time. You love to see gameplay like that. They are just constantly picking at each other, poking at each other. I love it. Love seeing stuff like that. It's constant back and forth game. Makes things interesting, you know? OTC gaining a good foothold, pushing Drexel back, even when they were a man down. That's going on the highlight reel for Funny Clips. That was hilarious. Both Sigmas just throwing their CC rock ability at each other at the exact same time. Both of them collecting. I love moments like that. Speaking of Sigma, ult goes out, doesn't catch anybody. Drexel Sigma catches our Sigma mid ult, stuns him, forces him out of the ult. But OTC still doing work, pushes Drexel back, just holding them at this choke. They were able to take a note from Drexel's playbook and pull the Junkrat. So now we're able to just spam damage down this ramp and just keep Drexel at bay. However, both sides are rocking a Junkrat, so it's kind of just grenade after grenade after grenade after grenade. Makes it feel very, very difficult and daunting to try to play on. I'm glad I'm watching this game and not playing it, because trying to dodge all those grenades would be a nightmare. This is a great game. I'm loving this. OTC able to push Drexel extremely far back, pushing them completely off the ramp onto where the second capture point is. And Sigma just holding the front line, doing a great job. OTC made the switch to Kiriko from Ana, looking to get that Kasune ult. Speaking of Kasune ult, they have it. OTC in about 10-15 seconds or so, depending on how much damage Soggy Boy can get in, is going to have every single ult on the team at their disposal. Speaking of Kasune, it goes out. Zoop pops his ult as well. Physics on Drexel pops Tire, takes out Zoop's and Mercy. Nano goes out on Sigma and Drexel. That's huge, but they're making a lot of space. Drexel's looking dominating here. Speaking of, they take out the last two remaining players on OTC's side. However, because Mercy and Soldier were killed off early in that team fight, they're back. Speaking of, Mercy comes in, gets the res off on Sigma on the back line of Drexel. Sigma gets slept, Mercy stays with him, just trying to heal him and keep him up. Sigma goes up and immediately pops ult. Let's look at that from a different perspective here. Doesn't really quite get anybody, but OTC is still trying to stay in this fight as much as they can. Supports, DPS, all the good people coming back into the team fight, just trying to keep this going. They're fighting for their lives on this point. Soggy Boy once again slept behind Drexel in the backline. How many times is Drexel just going to let him sit there and sleep and not do anything about it? Speaking of Drexel, they lose their tank and they lose their main heal off a KZ concussion mine. That's huge. That's really big. OTC with all odds against them completely pushes Drexel back off of the point. They have now held for 4 minutes on this one single point. That's huge. All they got to do is kill another 25 seconds plus overtime. If they can do that, we will go into an overtime where we just have to push the second half point.
Watch out for this one.
OTC just needs to hold. They need to hold hard. They need to do it well. And they're doing that. A lot of abilities going out. No ultimates yet. We don't quite have them. We're about to have Kasune if Kiriko can keep going. Drexel does take out Soggy Boy. Loser Mode gets Soggy Boy back up. OTC always has a tank. Speaking of tank, takes out one of the healers. Zoops comes in and clears up the other healer. Kiriko goes out. Kasune doing big damage. Doing some good numbers. OTC just wiping the field, honestly. They are just... That is kill after kill after kill. That is OTC on the entirety of the kill feed. Soggy Boy taking a bit of the emote here and claiming map 3. They won. They were able to hold Drexel off of the map, off of the second point, and prevent them from getting a higher score. That was an absolute phenomenal performance by OTC. A 4.5 minute hold is insane. That's the kind of stuff you don't see anymore. Not in this game. You don't see that kind of stuff anymore. So OTC is going to take a 2-1 lead over Drexel here. And remember, Nate's Overwatch is a best of 5. So it's the first team to win 3 maps, not 3 rounds, but 3 maps, will take the match. So OTC is currently in the lead. We are in the running for taking this match. We are up 2-1. As long as we can win this next map or the map after, we will win this matchup tonight. However, we are going to take a short break here, just in between games, kind of recatch our breath, regain the mental a little bit, just a little bit of a water break as we decide the next map. And then we will be right back to it. But an absolute phenomenal performance by OTC to stay in this match. Okay, welcome back everybody for map 4 as we move into I honestly forget what this map is called. What is this map? It's set in Toronto, Canada, I know that, but I forget what the name of the actual map is. Regardless, we are on push. This is a bit of a different objective game mode where the last two have been you gotta push a payload, you gotta first capture a payload, then push the payload to a certain objective. This one is there's a big old robot in the middle that you have to fight for control of. And you want it to walk this barrier to the other team's spawn. So this is basically just one big tug-of-war matchup here. Very fun to watch. Not so much fun to play as this game mode. It's a little bit controversial within professional Overwatch. But regardless, fun to watch. We're gonna have a good time here. Both teams immediately taken to the high ground, disregarding the capture point swaps with another insane mid-air headshot on Physics. This dude is nuts. Cloud9, TSM, G2, some professional team needs to sign this guy because this is insane. OTC kind of falling apart a little bit. They did give up the first capture point, but I think that's largely in part due to the tank pick for Drexel going with a Reinhardt instead of a Sigma or an Orisa or something like that. Just basically getting the bigger HP shield to fight on the point with, which really worked for them. Speaking of tanks, OTC's tank got walled off by the opposing team's May. Is that Nano? Did Nano already go out? Wow! Nano already going out on Soggy Boy. That's nuts. Doing some good work with it. Doing some incredible work with it, actually. Taking out Sea-Dog and Lucio on Drexel. Basically regaining control of the bot. That's insane. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen a Nano gain that quickly into a game. Aerie is just on another level right now. He's feeling that Cloud9. Just completely obliterating the team. Ooh, big shatter coming in from Drexel. Takes out 3. Snow Dragon picks up 4. And Reinhardt takes another 5. That was a really, really big shatter. Not much OTC could do about that, honestly.
If they won't quit,
because the Sigma shield wouldn't have blocked that unless it was in the ground, but that's very hard to predict. Not much we could have done about that. OTC probably needs to make a tank switch here, especially after they use the ult. Looks like they're not going to. They're going to stick with the Sigma. Rolling in here, however, going for the double assistant DPS characters of Soldier and Soldier. Just trying to focus on the Reinhardt shield, getting it down. Kasune goes out from Drexel, so does Blizzard, forcing OTC back, kind of just messing them up a little bit. Drexel really doing a good job here. You can tell they like this map. It's working extremely well for them. Speaking of tank swap, OTC does make that, switching over to Reinhardt, kind of mirroring Drexel here. Very good pick. That's exactly what they needed to do. I would have personally gone for Ramash's because Ramash's shift form can do damage with shield, which is very big against Reinhardt. But you kind of have to build a team composition around Ramasha. Both teams here just trying to fight to this point. Reinhardt's both just swinging at each other, just dealing damage to the shield, just trying to mess each other up. Soldier goes out, gets 1. Can he get 2? Soldier frozen. Zuoff only gets 1. Soggy Boy gets taken out by the opposing Soldier. OTC popping 1 off, getting a kill but not doing too much else with it. Both sides still taking at each other here. OTC down a tank, so they are at a slight bit of a disadvantage, but they are still fighting. Ana gets a really, really nice anti-grenade on the back line of Drexel. Gets 1. Reinhardt completely flying in, completely charges into the back line. Gets 1. Drexel has no heals. Reinhardt falling back. Zuoff taking up the clean kill, wiping out Drexel's Reinhardt. Very, very good. That's some good stuff. I like seeing that. That's what we need to look for from OTC. That's exactly what they needed. Drexel, unfortunately, though, did get a lot of push distance with that team fight, making it 88, almost 89 meters compared to OTC's like 15. Drexel making a odd switching over to Bastion. Shatters, but doesn't really do much. Bad timing for the Shatter on behalf of OTC, unfortunately. And because of that, he wasted a very important ult, and Drexel was able to clean that up on him. So OTC is being forced back, just keeping the Mercy, pocketing the Soldier, trying to keep him alive, trying to get some good damage in. OTC does have Visor and Guardian Angel. We're about to have Overcharge on the Soldier, and we're about to have Nano on the Ana. A nano visor would be huge, especially if we can wear down the shield of Reinhardt, so Drexel would have no protection against it. If we can get a nano visor in without a shield, that's a team fight. That's a win. We just gotta get it going. Kasune goes out on behalf of Drexel. That's huge. Bastion just completely, no regrets, charging into the front line and back line of OTC, completely wiping them out with the Kasune boost. That's really big, and as an obviously biased person of OTC, that kind of hurts to see. But we're going to come back on this point, try to get some good damage in. Mercy still alive here, trying just not to die. As I say that, gets swarmed or ganked by a couple of the Drexel people. It does get taken out, unfortunately, which means going into this next team fight, we will not have our main heal. OTC makes a bit of a swap. Zoops this time, swapping to Reaper, just trying to wear down the Reinhardt, and my guess would be he made the swap to focus on the Bastion. Reaper is a very good pick to counter Bastion, because Bastion is such a big character. Reaper is very good against characters that are big process, like Reinhardt, as we just saw there. Bastion ult goes out, however, and does take out Zoops. That's going to be very big for Drexel if they can just keep the pressure on, which is exactly what they're doing. Drexel seems to very much prefer this push style of map. They like to just play around the objective. They're good at it. Big Shatter goes out, catches most of the team. However, Soundberry goes out from the Drexel side and keeps the team alive. Speaking of shatters, Drexel sends theirs out. It's a tank v tank. Oh! Okay! Big charge from Soggy Boy, takes out Lucio. Zoops is able to clean up Reinhardt, and Losermo, switching to a battle Mercy, is able to headshot the Kiriko and take her out of the game. OTC won the team fight, and now they are back into possession of the robot, pushing it forward, just trying to keep the momentum going. With the game being as close as it is to defeat, for OTC, we cannot give any space. We got to keep the charge up. We got to keep going. We cannot let Drexel back on the side. If they do, there's a very high likelihood of them winning and taking that based on that. Zoops, however, making another big play, taking out two. Reinhardt included. Soggy Boy gets a really long distance charge in, takes out the Lucio. Drexel was on the back foot here. They're backpedaling out, just trying to save face, not die, losing more people. Losermo gets taken out by Shadow Dragon, the soldier of Drexel. Drexel just kind of on the back foot here, trying to regroup a little bit. Looks like they're about to diving back into the field. Reinhardt drops in, almost at the launcher there. Reinhardt drops in. Bastion, very low HP. Speaking of Bastion, gets taken out by the fire charge. Wow! KZ completely making a mess of Drexel here. That's very impressive from KZ on the Junkrat. That's exactly the switch we needed to see. Get that AoE spam damage in while everybody's kind of grouped together around Reinhardt. If KZ can get behind them and just spam damage into him, it'll hit just about everybody because one's playing behind that shield. Reinhardt has Shatter, KZ has Tire. Let's see if KZ can do something with it, because at this point in the match, a Tire can mean the difference between victory or loss. That Tire's going to be huge, and if they combine it with the Shatter, that's even better. Nano Boost goes out on the Reinhardt. Charge goes in. Ooh, catches the other Reinhardt. Looks like they're pushing back. Drexel makes the switch to a Pharah. That's very good. However, they don't have the heal, or sorry, the support characters to really make use of that. However, Physics does take out Ares, but Zoops takes a double kill, just holding the front line. Let's get a perspective on Zoops here. Zoops just holding that front line, pushing Drexel back, even though they do have a Pharah. Pharah's a bit of a questionable pick on behalf of Drexel here. Usually you want to pick a Pharah if one of your supports is Ana or Mercy or something like that. Oh, big Shatter goes out! Wow! Wow, taking out Soldier. That was good, taking out some good picks. Not enough though, however. OTC still trying to fight here. Physics does pop the barrage, takes out Aerie. Zoops gets picked off by Physics as well, and then Ghosty is going to take out Losermo on the Mercy. So Drexel is going to win that team fight and to regain control of the robot. However, OTC is able to gain a lot, and I mean a lot of distance on that push to keep them in this fight. OTC just has to fight really hard and really smart here to take Drexel off the point while they're still away from the barrier. Because if Drexel gets to the barrier and they start making push distance, that's going to be a death sentence for OTC. So we got to hold them while they're not on the barrier yet. Speaking of, OTC regains control of the robot. It is now in our favor, and we are looking to push in. Both Reinhardts charge in, stun each other, stop them in their tracks. Yasune goes out. Visor goes out on behalf of Drexel. Gets one, gets two. Shatter goes out on Drexel as well. Gets Zoops and takes KZ's tire out. Not necessarily. I think OTC is 0 for 2 on their tires tonight, so we got a little bit of an area to work on. KZ gets taken out by Magic Cart. OTC is on the back pedal now. However, point is still being contested. As I say, that point is no longer contested. So the bot is moving forward to the barrier. Reinhardt charges in from left field, flying in. Might be a death sentence for him though, unless Mercy can keep him up. And unfortunately, Mercy cannot keep him up. Bit of a questionable charge of aggressiveness there from Soggy Boy. Pushing him in. Luzimo gets the res off on Zoops, so Zoops is back in the fight. Let's give a little perspective on him. KZ gets taken out. Zoops gets a nice double kill. Zoops is putting in the work tonight. This man is on a hot streak of performance. Soggy Boy taking another one-on-one Reinhardt fight with Drexel. Pops off, gets it. Can he take out Reinhardt? Looks like he takes out Reinhardt, pushing them back. Drexel has no tank. OTC regains control of the robot. All we got to do is push it just a little bit further, just a little bit more, and we win this match. Come on, OTC! OTC full stack on the point, just trying to regain that control, just push everybody back just a little bit, and just keep themselves in this fight. It is now in overtime, so if OTC steps off the point long enough for that sparking bar at the top to reach 0, Drexel will win. OTC has to stay alive on this point. Rip Tire goes out on behalf of Drexel and takes out Mercy. OTC falling piece by piece here, trying to stay on the point as long as they can. Kiriko staying on. Fortunately, it is not enough, and they are going to burn the overtime timer, which means Drexel is going to take map 4, making this a 2-2 series. So, what this means is we have one more map to spectate and view tonight. The winner of this next map wins tonight's matchup. So this is going to be a very stressful, very entertaining game, and I think this play right here is exactly what set the pace for the remainder of this game. That shatter was huge. Drexel's marketing team needs to put that on a highlight reel because that was huge. That might have won them the game, set the pace, set the tone, and push that momentum forward. That was honestly a really good play on behalf of them. But we are going to take another little bit of a short break here. Not necessarily a bathroom break or anything like that, but just a break to figure out the next map. So we'll be back in just a moment.
guns.
Can't really harvest with them. But who am I to argue with?
Okay, welcome back. We are here for map 5. This map makes or breaks this game. OTC has to take this win here if they want to win this matchup. I was able to look at the chat feed over the break, and I see you guys requested a bit of first-person camera, so I'll try to get that in for you guys a little bit. This first point, very, very dangerous. I don't like playing this point. I honestly, of all the maps and all the capture points, this first one is my absolute least favorite. Mostly because I really don't like playing Roadhog. However, it seems neither team is pulling Roadhog, and that's really good. If Drexel were to pull Roadhog, that'd be very important for OTC to try to focus on. OTC taking a good charge on the first capture point, taking out 2 immediately, taking out 3. Zulofs is just on another level tonight. This dude's insane. Let's get a perspective on him real quick. Let's see if we can get here. Yeah, there we go. Let's watch a little bit of a first-person perspective on Zulofs, the man of the hour, the absolute GOAT for OTC Overwatch right now. This man just dominated. Watch him a little bit here as he tries to hold the choke. Oh, they switched to an Orisa. They picked Orisa into a Reaper? That's an interesting choice on Drexel's part. OTC just holding Drexel back, already at a quarter charge. Very good. Drexel looks to be getting a flank on. Zulofs raise it and TP's in. However, the entirety of Drexel pushes in. Let's get the third-person perspective here. See the whole field. See Zulofs just pushing in. Back to a first person as we get close in these quarters. Zulofs focusing on Drexel's soldier, pushing him back. He is out of the team fight for the moment. Not necessarily dead, but falling back. Zulofs gets a very, very good pick on Drexel's Lucio there. Sorry for the pushing back. Oh! And that is why you don't pick Orisa into a Reaper. Remember earlier how I was saying Reaper is very, very good at dealing with targets that have big hitboxes? Orisa has the biggest hitbox in the entire game. That's a very questionable, honestly extremely questionable pick on behalf of Drexel to pick an Orisa into a Reaper, and because of that, they completely got punished. Reaper on Zulofs. Death Blossom going in! Gets 1, gets 2! Oh my god. Physics gets a good rip tire off though, takes out both Airy and KZ. Soldier able to out DPS Zulofs there. That's pretty important. Able to win that team fight. That was a big tire. Unfortunately in Overwatch, a lot of times matches and team fights can come down, as we've seen tonight, down to DPS ultimates, and that is one of the cases where a single ability changed the entire course of a fight in an instant. That's really huge on behalf of them. So OTC is going to fall back and regroup here. However, that was a absolutely phenomenal first hold on the capture point, gaining 95 out of 100% on the capture point. That's really big. Drexel going for a Pharah here, not necessarily going for a Pharmacy. Nano Boost goes out on the Sigma. Is he going to pop? He pops. Oh, gets 1. Is he going to get anything? Sound Barrier goes out. Doesn't get anybody. Sound Barrier absolutely saving Drexel University right now. Soggy Boy is able to take out Kiriko, though. That's really big for their ability to hold off big plays. However, it's not going to be enough because of the Sound Barrier. And OTC is going to lose that team fight, so Drexel is going to hold on to the capture point for just a little bit longer. However, they don't have Sound Barrier. Sound Barrier is a very game-saving ability. Like I was literally just saying, not even 10 seconds before that team fight, certain abilities can make or break fights, and Sound Barrier is one of those. So in instances of big ultimates, like a Sigma ult, a Sound Barrier will save your team 9 times out of 10, because what it does is it just gives you a bunch of extra health. It's all temporary and it fades extremely quickly, but it is so much that not a single ability in the game can kill you while you are under the effects of a Sound Barrier that's got the majority of its time remaining before it decreases the temporary health boost. We're going to keep going here. We'll switch over back to a first person as we get a very congested fight going. Oh, really big, nice looking tire going off from Soggy Boy. Hit somebody that he probably should have hit. Doesn't really get to do anything with it, but it was nice to look at the very least. And this right here is one of the reasons why you pick Pharah into a Sigma. Sigma has a very difficult time dealing with a Pharah because his abilities are projectile. So OTC should honestly be looking for a tank switch here. Just switch it up. I would prefer them to go somebody like Ryan, just to block off. However, They are not able to hold the capture point, and Drexel is going to take it. So it is going. So round 1 of map 5 is going to go to Drexel with only a 5% differential. That's really big. And honestly, if it wasn't for that Riptire in the first hold that OTC had, I don't think Drexel would have won that. That tire was huge. Because ultimately it did come down to the first-person perspective. I was looking at chat while I said that. It ultimately did come down to the double kill that Riptire provided. And if you didn't see, it did take out our secondary DPS of KZ and our main healer of Aerie. And because of that, Drexel was able to hold the point, even though we had the man advantage, because they took out such important characters. Going on to capture point 2 on Nepal here, OTC sticking with pretty much the same composition, dropping Junkrat and picking up the soldier, probably to counter the Pharah, because they might pull it. Oh, we have a disconnect. Maybe? That's weird. Oh, sorry. My apologies. That's a spectator. That was one of Drexel's spectators. We have no disconnect on behalf of players. Capture point is unlocked. Reinhardt charges in, boots off the Mercy, doesn't get anything to go. Zoops gets a nice headshot on the Pharah. That's what they need. Pharah is able to hold pressure extremely well. Soggy Boy almost getting taken out, but able to stay in the fight due to OTC support. Switch to a first-person perspective here with the fight this control point. Soggy Boy doing a very good job just holding the line, keeping his team in the fight, distracting this Reinhardt. Reinhardt tries to swing into a shift ability of Sigma here. He doesn't seem to realize that ability only blocks incoming projectiles and not big ol' hammer swinging. Very questionable on behalf of Reinhardt to do that. Aerie gets a nice little anti-grenade going off on Reinhardt, not necessarily swaying the team fight in any way, shape, or form, but it's always nice to see big anti-grenades, especially if they're on tanks. If you're a regular Overwatch player, you'll know on first-hand account that seeing an enemy's health bar go purple is just a massive dopamine. It's really nice to see, because what that grenade does is it prevents the enemy team from feeling well underneath that. Big Shatter goes out, catches most of the team, but Aerie gets a very nice nano boost going off on Arista to hold the front line, prevent Sea-Dog on Reinhardt and Drexel to do anything with the Shatter, basically wasting it essentially. Speaking of anti-grenade, a triple anti goes out on Drexel. Zoops gets another nice kick on the Pharah. Let's switch to Zoops here. Get a good perspective going on him. As I say that, Zoops gets picked off. Most of OTC gets picked off, actually. Losing the team fight for the moment. Drexel doing a very, very good job holding the front line. The switch to Arista by Soggy Boy is very good. I like seeing that. And one of the reasons I like seeing that is because Arista is essentially a half DPS. Speaking of, big ult. See if he does anything with it. Doesn't get anything with it. Drexel very smart, getting the people out. Trying to focus on Ryan a little bit too much. Left their backs exposed. Zoops is going to get a nice pick on Reinhardt. That's going to be pretty big. See if he can get this Pharah too. Almost gets her. About 20 HP left. Unfortunately, can't finish it off. OTC made a little bit of a mistake here and focused too much on the tank when they needed to focus on the point in the back line, and because of that they lost the second round of Paul. So what this means is Drexel is going to take a 3-2 lead over OTC, and they are going to claim tonight's match. Very, very, very good match tonight from both parties. Speaking of that double kill with the Riptire, which made round 1 on this map, completely winning them in their favor, being the decider, essentially, in map 1. However, that will do it for tonight. OTC, unfortunately, taking a heartbreaking loss tonight, as we fought extremely hard to win this match. Bit disappointing to see, but however, our end goal of competing in NACE is not to necessarily take home trophies. However, that is extremely nice. That's not our end goal. We are here to have fun. We're here to have a good time, have some good games, put on some good shows, make some good highlights for our highlight reels, since we all that. And I think we did that. You know, in between breaks, I was going into the arena and just looking and seeing how the teams were going, and they were just hyped beyond belief. It was amazing. They were sitting there smiling at each other, fist bump, talking about the games. Like, dude, did you see this play? It's awesome. Like, our end goal here is to just have fun, have a good time, and that's exactly what we did tonight. Drexel put up a good fight, and it was really good to see, and it was awesome to commentate, being able to see it from over here and whatnot. But that will be tonight's game, unfortunately. So OTC is 0-2 this season in Overwatch, but it is our first season, so we're still learning, trying to get our momentum going. But we are going to be looking to come back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. unless something changes. If something does change, we will announce it, so be sure to look at our Twitter and Instagram feeds and all that. Just stay up to date. But I have been your host, Mirage, and it has been a great honor to be here with you. Thank you, and have a good night.